Greetings. This is Pete Einstein with SonPower Ministries and another thought for consideration. Have you ever heard somebody say, well, we've tried everything else, we might as well pray? Well, I've heard that phrase. I've heard it in private conversations, in family relational discussions. I've even heard it in the sanctuaries of churches. And may I submit to you that that is backwards thinking. Why? Because prayer is the first line of offense or defense for anything in the spiritual realm that is entering and affecting our lives. Prayer is the shortest distance between man and God. It is an intimate conversation with the Creator of the universe and all that is therein. Now, Jesus talks about prayer, and he teaches about prayer in Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 to 15. And it's a very, very interesting study on real and practical ways that you and I can pray. In the 5th verse in that chapter, Jesus says this: when you pray, not if, but when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites. Now, who is he referring to? He was referring to the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the teachers of the day, who would get dressed up in their finery, and they go into the synagogues or out on the streets and the corners and in a place of where they could be seen and heard, and they would have eloquent, even theatrical prayers. And they would do it to draw attention to themselves, and it was an act of vanity. Jesus said, if that's your intention, then you've received your reward here on earth, but you are not communicating and connecting to the one who made it all, God the Father. He went on to say, there is time for group and corporate prayer, but I want to teach you, he says, about the individual communication with the Father, something that is quiet, contemplative, if you will, not filling the air with constant noise or flowery words, or, as he called it, vain repetitions, but being quiet and still, having a two-way dialogue, speaking, yes, but also be willing to listen to the still small voice of the Spirit of God. It is a heartfelt two-way dialogue, he says. And lest we forget, Jesus Christ reminds us that he already knows what we're going to ask for before we even pray, because that's who he is. He is omniscient. He's all-knowing. And often we'll pray for something that we think we need, and he'll know that's really not the best thing for us. And so he often answers our prayers in ways we least expect. Now, people have said to me, Pete, I don't know how to pray. Well, as I said, prayer is a heartfelt communication and connection with God. And so, especially in my prison ministry, I've had many, many men who say, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to do it. And I'll say, what about this? God, I'm hurting. I can't do this anymore. I need you in my life. Now, that's a cry of distress, but it is also an example of heartfelt prayer. Before I leave you today, let me give you a model that may be helpful in your prayer life. It's based on a word, acts, A-C-T-S. A, adoration. We're to praise God for who he is, his nature, his attributes, the fact that he is creator of all things. So we give him adoration. C, confession. Come before God and let him know what's in our hearts, even though he knows. And we confess our faults. We confess sins that we've committed, but we also confess things that we haven't done that we should have done, sins of omission. T, thanksgiving. Thank God for what he's done for you and me in the past, for what he's doing now in our lives, and even thank him for what he's going to do in the future. And last but not least, S, supplication. Those are our requests, our petitions. And often we always put those first, thinking maybe God is an intergalactic machine that we can put in our quarter and get out all the goodies. But no, save the supplications and the requests last on the prayer list. bringing our requests to the Lord in obedience, but also in humility. I hope this information has been helpful. I hope it's been practical, and I hope you have enjoyed this thought for consideration. If you'd like to know more about SonPower Ministries, we have our address and our phone number on the screen. We have an email through which you can contact us, and we would love to come and serve and minister at your church or your special event. And also, we have a website, theinmatewithin.com. That is a website for a book I've written. It's an action-adventure saga of 25 years plus behind prison bars in ministry and relationship building. So until next time, this is Pete Einstein once again thanking you for joining us for this thought for consideration.